Well, as far as I can see, the video is running, the audio is running, and everything seems to be working fine, so I'm going to assume that my emulation isn't causing any issues, and that we can proceed. See if my controller works. Yeah. Okay, I'm not sure if I should load the game, I'll just play a new one. There's no difference really, except for unlocking guns, so I'm just gonna leave it on this screen. Actually, no, let's just play a new game. Yeah, no kidding. Apparently this was 3 years ago. This is an old game. This is from 2003, 2004. It was released in Europe in 2004. It was released in Japan in 2003, I believe. So it's a PlayStation 2 game. I'm running it through an emulator so that I can play. This is actually the very first games of the Earth Defense Forces franchise. So I was thinking, while I'm playing strategy games on Sundays, I could play something different entirely on Wednesdays. I was actually struggling a lot to pick a game for two reasons. First, I own a lot of games. Secondly, I wasn't sure what to play at all. And I didn't want to make a just another PC shooter or anything like that. So I'm just gonna briefly, for anybody who had ever played the Earth Defense Forces game before, the whole concept never really changed. Essentially, aliens are attacking and you're supposed to defend the world from them, and you're unlocking weapons. In the more recent titles, you also get to unlock vehicles and weapons. In the old titles, you only had weapons and a couple of vehicles that would spawn on the map, and that would be it. It's a very straightforward game, so we will just jump right into it. The game isn't very long. In fact, in the 2 hours we will be streaming, I might actually finish it. I'm considering what difficulty to play it on, because I beat the game on hard. I didn't beat it on Chaos or Inferno, nor do I want to try, because some levels, well, only a few levels are actually very difficult, and that's usually because of how certain enemies are acting. So for starters, let's just play on normal. The game does seem to be stable, and I have played with the settings to make the graphics be as reasonable as they can be on a modern configuration despite being an older game, so it should look fine. It does on my monitor in any case. I'm not sure how the stream is looking, but from my OBS it does seem to be looking just fine. So this is an old game. It's like I said, from 2003, so it's what, 15, 16? Let's say it's 16 years old, or we could probably say that it's 17, because it actually been released in 2003 in Japan, I think. It does hold up. I mean, it's essentially the same as the new Defense Forces are. It's a very simple concept. You go, you shoot, and you get overwhelmed by enemies. I'm not all that good at. I didn't fix some of the options, so we will immediately pause to get that going. Off. Look up and down. normal, vibration is off, cinema is off because it's just dumb, and turn speed is increase that a bit. Controls, we want to be technical because if you, if you play on normal controls, uh, they are essentially the tank controls from the early console games, and we don't want that. The sound also might be low in quality in certain points. Nothing I can do about that. That's essentially from emulation, but it should be more or less fine. The game's graphics actually aren't bad considering how games looked like back then. So you get three types of pickups. The health pickups, which are a small health and a large health. And you pick up weapon crates and armor pickups. Now they aren't your standard pickups, like you don't get increased armor for picking up in mid-level, but essentially how it works, it's like an experience and unlocking system. Every armor pickup that you get increases your armor by 4 from the next level. So it's like an increase of health. So you do want to pick this up whenever you can. The weapon pickups, on the other hand, unlock weapons. But it's not a very fixed system, as in you pick up a weapon crate and that's going to unlock a weapon for that level. Essentially every level has certain weapons that you can unlock. And when you pick up a weapon crate, it essentially gives you... It essentially says, yeah, you're getting a weapon. One of the weapons that you can unlock in this level, it could be one that you already unlocked, or it could be a brand new one. So I got a Goliath D rocket launcher and an SG4 shotgun. Since the early levels are only pretty much just ants, I'm gonna try it out. I will try to use as many weapons as I can, although there's essentially 4 or 5 weapons in the game and they just have variations of them. Goliath has better damage, bigger blast radius, same accuracy, same reload time. It does seem to be just a better version of the Goliath one, so we will use that. I didn't use the rocket launcher at all in the first level. No reason why I didn't. There's just no need. I do believe that some of the weapons only become available on higher difficulties. I don't know that for a fact. Oh yeah, and the levels are completely destructible. Every single building can be destroyed. That holds true to the modern Earth Defense Forces games. But back then, this was... well, it wasn't exactly revolution. There were other games that did the same thing, like Mercenaries. But it's always fun to see. Fortunately, you're not penalized for destroying buildings. Even though you're destroying civilian buildings and you're trying to save civilians, but you know. Details. You can dodge, but as I've just demonstrated, you don't have any invincibility frames, which makes this a bit difficult, because while I can dodge out of the way, if they start their attack animation, I will not be able to get away from it. That's one of the things that actually increases the difficulty for a very bad reason. This is something that's been fixed in the more recent games, but this was 2003. They were just happy that they could get so many enemies on the screen and have everything running smoothly. You can see that the FPS is for the most part stable. There are some FPS drops, and I am running this through an emulator, just, you know, to be clear. But when I played this originally on my PS2, it was hiccuping a lot. Reason could that be because I had a slim PlayStation which didn't have exactly the best cooling capabilities, and this game, as well as Mercenaries for that matter, was oh, I'm not gonna get that. Got it. It just hiccuped a lot. There were some performance issues, it has to be said. So we got the same shotgun and the D version of the assault rifle. I believe that's just higher damage output. Has a better accuracy as well, but only 10 ammunition. It fires a lot slower. Yeah, that's the D version. Might as well take it. Mission select swarm. This is still ants only, so yeah, it seems like the early part of the level when the civilians are up, it causes some FPS drops, but it stabilizes quite quickly. I've been playing this on hard lately, so it's just, I feel it's ridiculously easily now on normal. But that changes when you go in later levels and you have more enemy types. Also, what's gonna make it harder is that I don't have some of the better weapons that you unlock, because there's no guarantee which weapons you will get when you're unlocking them. It's just gonna be a weapon that is available on that level. It could be one that you already have, or it could be a brand new one. There's 111 weapons in the game. In my main file, I believe I unlocked 70 of them. As you can see, even when the FPS drops, it still performs quite stable, which is good. The game didn't crash for me once, so we should not be seeing any of that. I'm gonna check just some sound options. All of the sound should be reasonably balanced, but I'm just gonna increase volume a bit, although the sounds are very repetitive and there's not a great library of sound, so you're not at a loss for something. I can hear it quite well, so I hope that you can hear it as well. Like I said, this isn't that much to hear except gunshots and screams, but you can't really play a shooter game in silence. Oh. Also, I'm having an easier time playing this now than I had originally on my PS2 controller, because I'm playing this now on a PS4 controller hooked up to my emulator, which makes this a lot easier because of the increased sensitivity. I didn't have this kind of control when I was playing this on an original PS2. I'm actually surprised that my game disc actually runs, to be honest. I thought that I was going to have to do some trickery to get this disc to run, but it loaded just fine. And yes, I know there are other ways of getting the game to run on an emulator apart from running the disc itself, but I do want to get to do this as legit as possible. Early few levels are just like introduction. You actually have a very small amount of enemies, and there is something very nice about being able to do this. Just destroyed the entire building. They did something very well on this game. Well, a few things. First, the sense of scale is right on the money. It's just as it should be. Secondly, the sights in the game are actually masterfully done. Every explosion feels large, every event feels large. It is very atmospheric. I only have a few complaints about this game. One of them being a lack of a sprint function. So when I want to traverse areas more quickly, I essentially just have to roll everywhere like I'm playing Dark Souls. It's not a big issue, but it is an issue. We have an armor pickup, and then we're gonna hunt down that last ant. So the premise is that the aliens are attacking and they're making giant creatures based on the creatures of Earth, and you have to fight them as part of the Earth Defense Forces. So we got a grenade launcher. Now, see, we got the Goliath D despite we having it again, and a version 18R of the assault rifle. What does the 18R do? So that one has a higher ammunition amount, a higher rate of fire, but it does a lot less damage. And it has a shorter range. Honestly, I prefer the shotgun for the close range. Which mission are we playing now? The Swamp Mothership. Okay, I do actually need a long-range weapon, so we're gonna keep that. And I am going to save the game just because. So you can see this is my regular file. I actually got 85 weapons. I didn't even notice I had more. So out of the 111, so I'm like 30 weapons short. Hopefully I won't overwrite my file, because I do want to keep playing this even off stream, because the game is actually a lot of fun. It's one of those games that you can always come back to, because it's simple. It's simple. It's simple stupid. You know, you can enjoy it easily. Okay, so this is one of those levels where you are not explicitly told what you need to do, because it says you have to defeat ships. What it doesn't tell you that this thing can be destroyed. There we go. Those things can also be destroyed. That's the main way of Mothership attacking. And look at this now. Look at that blast. That is absolutely gorgeous. We're talking about 13 years old game, and they did large explosions properly. That is always wonderful to see. Okay, so now the Mothership is deploying ships which will be attacking us, and I do believe that this little Mothership will now fly away. I don't know if I have to keep attacking it or not. Essentially, if you run close, you can... Oh, there we go. Oh, I'm accurate. Probably should have taken a machine gun for this, but shotgun actually takes them in one shot. So whenever I have a good shotgun, I prefer a shotgun over anything else. The only thing I don't like about these particular levels, when you're fighting a lot of these saucers, is that you don't get a lot of pickups. You get very few pickups. Even though he's gonna probably send more waves. I'm not sure if it's actually triggered, because I usually focus my attacks on the Mothership and destroy those antennas. I'm not sure if it's triggered or timed or what. I'm gonna keep attacking it anyway. Yep. Explosions work fine too. At least when they're grouped up. Then when they're not, any bullet weapon will do. I made a mistake when I first played this game and I didn't know how levels would look like, and I didn't think that I would need a long-range weapon, and in this level I took a grenade launcher. Yeah. Not really accurate, not really efficient for taking down this type of enemy. There are some weapon crates there, so I'm gonna sprint there, Dark Souls style. I think this thing is not flying away. No, it is not. So it probably will not even unless I destroy the tank. I'm not really sure how the triggers work in this game, to be honest. Because sometimes it flies away, sometimes it waits for me to destroy all of these things. So I believe you do have to destroy all of this. That's something that the game doesn't tell you. The game tells you that you have to destroy the saucers. So I always assume that I just need to destroy the saucer, that's gonna be it. But I see that the mothership isn't actually flying away, so maybe I do have to wreck it. Oh. Oh. On higher difficulties, these saucers are actually a proper threat because of their attacks. You can't reliably dodge them. And when you have a swarm above your head, that's a very quick way to die. And yeah, the mothership is not running away, so it is just waves. When you have stronger weapons, the thing is you can actually destroy all of those antennas in pretty much a couple of shots. So it looks like it's triggered and just flies away. Oh. Want this. For the longest time, games like this, like what is called what we know today as Air Defense Forces, when it originally released, these games completely flew over me. I didn't see the value of them. Oh, we got a sniper rifle and a missile launcher. Perfect. I don't think we have a good missile launcher, but it's still a missile launcher. Damage 150, ammo 2. It's a homing missile, but it's nothing special. Well, yeah, when these games were new, brand new, they completely flew over me. I didn't see the value, and I didn't see what the big deal was. Then I got older and I started playing a bigger variety of games that I didn't give a chance to before, and I was smitten, and now I like it. Because it's simple, like I said. Dropships. So I did take a rocket launcher, so I'm fine. Okay, focusing on the dropships now. I wish I had the stronger rocket launcher that can destroy this in like 2 shots, but I don't. Also on this difficulty there only seems to be 2 dropships, which is good. Or there is a mission later when you have more of them. There isn't a great variety in these types of games, but that's something that was always true of this game and of this franchise. But again, I mean, this is how you do a crash of an aircraft properly. That is magnificent. Although it was also glitched out this time around, which kind of defeats the purpose of me praising it. It should have crashed all the way to the ground, but it didn't. The other one did. So if you leave those dropships, blah, 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 I can't speak today. If you leave those dropships around, they will keep dropping these ants indefinitely, and you could make a point of, well, there were some differences between the Japanese and the European version of this game, and that is in the Japanese version, they didn't put a limiter on how many waves you can spawn of enemies, so you could farm pickups, specifically armor, until you max it out. But when they were releasing the European version of the game, they actually fixed that, I do believe. So the dropships only have a limited amount of waves that they will spawn before they stop. So you can't really farm them for pickups. Not that there really is a need to do so. When they did, even the regular amounts drop just enough, and like I said, the weapon pickup item is like a roulette. Even if you pick up 10 of them, it won't guarantee that you're gonna get the new weapon. It just guarantees that you're gonna have a weapon unlock on the end of the level. It could be the weapon that you already have though, so you never know. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't pick them up, but it's not something that you really need to stress over. And you can replay every level as many times as you want. So you can farm as much as you'd like to. I do believe that which weapons you get are preset, so you can't play the easiest level on Nightmare difficulty to get the strongest gun. You have to play appropriate level to get the appropriate gun. At least that's my understanding of it. I never did any testing on that, nor did I need to really. There's no point. To complete the game 100%, you do need to unlock all the weapons. That's what counts. Okay, so you can drive vehicles, but I haven't actually driven the... Oh, it's a circle. Okay. I was gonna take this vehicle to move a bit faster, but the controls on a chopper are really bad, so I might just not to do that because it's annoying. I want to get to those pickups. That's what I want to do. The dropships. So you see, this is where the dropship crashed. And I don't know if on this particular place there was a building, but when they crash, they actually destroy the buildings under them. So again, details, and those small details mean a lot. Makes the game more believable. Well, at least more enjoyable. So here are the ruins where the other dropship crashed. And you can also see how big the area is, so it's they effectively show scale in this game, and I love that. When you drop a dropship, it actually feels like you've dropped something that's big and intimidating. Yeah, it falls in like 6 rockets, but still. It feels like you actually did something to it. And that did actually something to the surrounding area when it fell. Oh, there we go. Simple, nice, enjoyable. MLR, I think, is actually a good missile launcher. The rebound gun is fun. It's essentially a machine gun with reflecting ammunition, ricochets, and better shotgun. How much damage did the rebound gun do? 10. We're gonna take the new shotgun. We're gonna take the Goliath. Actually, is Goliath doing more than the sniper rifle? Sniper is 125 and Goliath is 130. Sniper can actually be better than a rocket launcher because you can... it's instant hit essentially. Travels a lot faster than a rocket. 2 alien dropships. Targets, so this is gonna be taking out the dropships again. Oops. I focused them down first because I don't really want to fight wave after wave after wave of enemies. There we go. As in, it would take just a lot of time for hunting. Look at this beauty. Look at this beauty. That is how you do a crashed spacecraft. One of the good things about this whole franchise is that Air Defense Forces today still have that same concept, so the levels are still as spectacular and atmospheric when you fight them. Even more now because of what the graphics can do today. You know, this is a 13-year-old game, and they were doing this with PlayStation 2 technology, which was revolutionary when it came out, but people today don't know what these revolutions were. I mean, what kind of increasing quality of life this was when it was new. It was a massive improvement over what PlayStation 1 could do. And it was performance which was expected, dropping more ants, it was performance was expected out of PCs at the time, or at least not technology that, I mean, today we take this technology for granted. It's expected today for a console to try to compete with a PC. Back then it didn't. In the olden days of consoles, so in the 90s and even 80s, you didn't have the console wars, and you didn't have the glorious PC master race or the console peasants or any of those concepts. You simply had a platform, and you simply used what you could afford. Games were mostly played on consoles because they were built for that, and it was simpler for parents to understand them. Computer gaming was more relegated over to people who actually had PCs, which were expensive at the time, especially where I'm from. And then you got PlayStation. Well, the revolution already started with Super Nintendo, it has to be said, but from PlayStation to PlayStation 2 and the later on Xbox and other consoles, you got the beginnings of what would start the feud between the gamer, the class division that was never supposed to happen. There was never any point, and all consoles try to do is just give you a reliable platform that would be simple to use and have a lot of games. PC was PC, console was console, and you simply got what you wanted to play on. That was it, what you could afford. Then something just changed. RR, what does this do? Same damage. A bit slower fire rate. What is it? This is oh yeah, this is a good missile launcher. This is a good one. Oh, let's use the rebound gun for one level to just demonstrate it. Which level are we playing now? Blockade. Ah, so these are the The robots. Yeah, we can take we can take the missile launcher here. Why not? Yeah, I forgot this gun isn't very accurate, but that's fine. So the missiles will. This is an old style shooter game, so the missiles will not individually target individual enemies. All of them will pick one, and all of them will go for one, even if that target dies. See? There is one bonus on using the rebound gun, and that is the ricochets are not random. They will always point to the direction of the next enemy, but they only ricochet off surfaces, not of other enemies. In the later games of the series, the rebound gun, when it's in the game, it's usually favored when you're playing in caves. I was always upset about the whole division of gamers between the console and the PC. I always tried to get, well, whenever I could, I got more platforms. I couldn't afford to own some of the platforms over the course of my life because where I was from, and they were really, really expensive, and the profits, you know, from my parents' job just weren't there to support that kind of a lifestyle. So I would play on what I could. I had some of the knockoff consoles. So instead of PlayStation, I had the Polystation. You can Google that. It's a knockoff Chinese Super Nintendo that looks like a PlayStation console. So they ripped off the design of the console, but it runs Super Nintendo games on it. One of the more impressive things about it is that it has a knockoff Mortal Kombat 1, seriously downgraded. Essentially, I think they used the original Virtua Fighter or whatever the name of the game was, that one of the first fighting games that were on consoles, and they just changed the sprites. And they also try to give you an illusion of having more characters than you actually do by on the character selection screen. Some of the characters will appear 2 or 3 times with the color palette swapped around, so you weren't sure which character you're picking up, and they were the same character. Oof. I can mess around because on normal difficulty these things don't really do that much damage. If you play this on Nightmare, you want to dodge every single one of those shots. And that machine gun, you want to stay away from it as well. On normal though, yeah, no big deal. I do want to go getting closer to grab those pickups, but I want to get at least one of these walkers out of the way before I do so. The benefit of the missile launchers is that you can focus on other things because the missiles auto-lock, but they always auto-lock to the nearest enemy, and since they're working side by side, the missiles can't always decide which one is the closer one. And like I said, you don't have invincibility frames, so when I get close to this guy, he will probably damage me. Okay. I'm gonna try and stay close to him because I'm gonna try to pick up the stuff he drops as well. There we go. Some extra armor. Perfect. Perfectly done. The same sniper. Oh, 19D assault rifle. That's a stronger version of it. So we again just have the robots. I think it's 5 of them. No, this missile launcher does 32 damage and this does 130 per rocket, so we're gonna use that. Okay. City Siege. Normal. Ha. I thought I had turned off the screen shaking. I wish that option was available in every single game that existed, because the screen shaking, especially in multiplayer games, annoys the living hell out of me. Like one of the, I mean, I play a lot of games, but one of the shooters I always play, especially in multiplayer, is the Call of Duty, because it's simple. And when I want to get some shooting done, I just play Call of Duty because it's the simplest thing to get into and enjoy. Fortunately, I can turn off the chat so I don't hear the toxicity, because some of you have potty mouths. And when you play Call of Duty, of course, people throw stuff at you. There are grenades, there are rockets, then there are air strikes and mortar strikes and God knows what not. And when those start falling, the screen shakes and it just annoys the living hell out of me, because it just... Yeah, I know what it's supposed to do that. It's supposed to make you lose focus and make it difficult for you to aim, but it's just annoying. Because the Call of Duty games aren't balanced properly anymore. And shut up, they're not. They just aren't. I still enjoy them, but I can see their flaws. It's not the same thing. Oh no, I forgot there's not more of them on this difficulty. There's 2 more on Nightmare. Oh, Volcano. Because the games aren't balanced, it's not the same situation between the 2 players, and that annoys me. It's the same if you get shakes when you're using a sniper or when you're using an SMG. 100 times 3 per shot. I got this weapon early. Cluster grenades aren't working because they're hand grenades. Breach. This is also just robots. Okay, FPS, calm down. Really, we should stop doing that, but Game Simulator can really control that. Oopsie daisy. More efficient against robots now because it sends 3 missiles. But they're still going to the same target. I think they just couldn't do individual targeting in the early games, or just couldn't do it properly, so they didn't. not that those attacks are difficult to dodge, because it isn't, but I'm not paying a lot of attention. I destroyed half of the city myself. I'm worse than these monsters. Might as well destroy the bridge as well. It's in the way. Oh, hold on, this isn't a missile launcher. I keep aiming on the side thinking, oh, it's gonna hit him anyway. It's a rocket launcher, it's not a missile launcher. It was a miss on my part. I was thinking, why aren't those rockets hitting him? And like, oh yeah, this isn't a missile launcher, this is a rocket launcher. Rockets don't follow. Rockets need my help. I need to lead the shots. Would help if he wasn't running away. Stay and fight, Howard. Also, the hitboxes on these robots aren't exactly perfect. So some missiles go, or rockets go through him. Which is a suboptimal way of fighting a robot. Oof, I guess that one hit me. It's good when you get a good weapon early so you can do some more damage. Got lucky with this volcano rocket launcher. In my original file I got the volcano quite late. I think I was my second playthrough when I was playing on so every playthrough on every difficulty you get medals for every difficulty. So when you play on very easy you get an unlocked weapon for every pass. So you have to play them on every difficulty, and I played on easy, normal and hard. And I got the weapons for them, and when I was playing on normal I still didn't have the volcano then. Only when I started playing on hard, so I thought it was a weapon that was only on the hard difficulty. Apparently I was wrong. So maybe you can get all the weapons in all difficulties, but not sure. I know that I couldn't get the better version of the volcano on an easier difficulty. One more left, and this is the point where I would like to have some transportation. Those blue dots on the radar are vehicles, but they're too far. I might just as well walk to it. I'm gonna make a shortcut. I hope nobody was living in those buildings. I hear him, I don't see him. Ah, he has the same idea as I do. I think every single one of them missed. I don't know why I'm having so much difficulty leading the shots with these rockets. It works exactly the same way as a big rocket. Once we're done with this, I think that I will be 3 weapons. Yes. A better sniper rifle, and a grenade launcher. I think I'm gonna be also playing the front mission 4 on this. I would actually play the whole franchise. The problem is that front mission 2 doesn't exist in Europe, so I can't. Ooh, Behemoth. So this is the first of the boss monsters, one of 5 in total that you will be fighting. So I do want the weapon that does the most damage. I guess this one is it. And I'm going to take the missile launcher for my secondary. Gojira! So you might think it's best to stay away from this thing, but you would be wrong. Although you do want to stay away from the stream of fire when the fire happens. But you do want to get close to him. Reason being, he takes a long wind up for every attack, and you can dodge his attacks easily if you're close to him. He's already in the first pain state. Maybe I should have just played him hard. Second pain state. I think he has 4 or 5 of them. I was really lucky he got the volcano early. This is probably a bit too easy. Oh. Well, to be honest, even on hard difficulty, the only levels that are truly difficult are the ones with the elite saucers, because of their insane damage output. Okay, I can't see him now. Okay. If you're actually far away from him, then you risk getting hit by this. So, if you follow your instincts, you're gonna get screwed. Just stay close to him and attack. Later on it becomes difficult, because you'll see there's a mission where you have to fight 2 of them. But even then it's not that much of a big deal. We got another MLR. So let me see what's the next mission. Gathering. Okay, so these are ants. Oh, I wish I had a flamethrower, but I don't. I have the shotty. That would be the best thing to do against these things. I don't think there are any saucers here, so let's do this. I'm gonna take a shotty, and we have one of the better grenade launchers. Okay, I'm gonna gamble with this a bit. Grenade launchers are effective. The problem is that their attack radius can sometimes screw you over. And these things like to get into your face to bite you, so see? I didn't see what the blast radius of this particular grenade is. It does 100 damage on impact. Crap. I wish the game had iframes, but it doesn't. You can dodge out of an attack, but you can still get caught while dodging. It turns out this grenade launcher is quite effective. I like that. I'm being carried. Ouch. Hoisted by my own petard. Probably because I'm trying to pick up stuff while I'm still fighting. I should get out of the way. A bit of old shoddy. These red ants are really annoying because they don't simply bite you, they also carry you and push you around, and that first of all screws up your aim, second of all it prevents you from escaping from them, and at higher difficulty they also deal a lot of damage. On this difficulty we're fine, we can mess around with them. How did I miss? Those never landed apparently. I like how the enemy ragdolls when you hit it with explosives. Also I ragdoll when I'm hit by explosive. Your armor doesn't really decrease damage, it's just health. So if something deals 100 damage to them, it will deal 100 damage to me. It becomes very dangerous later on because even though you can increase your health to... well, I don't even know what the maximum is. I think that's when I played the game years and years ago, I got it to like 4,000 armor. And it's like over 2,000 on my other file. But there are weapons that deal multiple thousands of damage. So if you use one of them, there is one in particular, it's a missile launcher. Deals, I believe, 3,000 damage, and it has a blast radius of like 15 meters or something. Yeah, you can easily blow yourself up with it. Third wave coming, but that's the last one as well. The red ants are really annoying. Not as annoying as an ant queen though, but that's a boss. Well, not a boss, it's a tougher monster later on. I think I blew up the bike. So there are three vehicles in this game. There's a tank, which has a cannon, obviously. There is a bike, which has 4 machine guns. But the only value of that bike really is to get you from point A to point B because it's really fast. I'm getting chewed, literally. And then there's the chopper, which I tried to fly, but the controls for the chopper are really bad and I don't want to. It has a machine gun and I think it has rockets as well. I didn't use it, really. And if you can use it, I mean, if you have the nerves to hand with its handling to actually deal with it, then you can pretty much, it's easy mode, uh, because some of the enemies, specifically ants, can't reach you, and you can reach them. You, the chopper doesn't spawn in every map though, so tank and the bike appear on virtually every map. Oh. Of course, one of them grabs me. Okay, there's only a few of them left, so should probably pick up what's available. Oh, for the love of die. Come here, little boy. There we go. Volcano 3A. Flamethrower. Excellent.